Imagine being worth $30 billion. And in just 2 years, not only losing it all, but sinking so deep into debt you owed more than $1 billion. This isn't gambling. This isn't crime. This is the true story of Brazil's richest man, Eike Batista, who built an empire on promises buried 10,000 feet underwater. Promises that turned into the worst billionaire collapse in history. Was it greed? Was it destiny? Or simply the cost of believing in a dream too big to handle? Stay with me till the end, because the lessons hidden in this downfall might save you from making the same mistake in your own life. In the world of business, there are stories of wealth, and then there are stories of collapse. But few tales are as shocking, as dramatic, and as tragic as the rise and fall of Eike Batista, a man who went from being worth $30 billion to negative $1 billion in just 2 years. This isn't the story of gambling. It isn't drugs. It isn't crime. It's the story of a dream buried 10,000 feet underwater. In Brazil's Campos Basin, geologists made a discovery that electrified the nation. They believed they had found oil reserves so vast, so deep, that they could rival Saudi Arabia's fields. To a man like Batista, this was more than oil. It was destiny. He built an empire on those promises. Every one of his companies ended with an X. EBX, OGX, MPX, MMX. X stood for multiplication, for the idea that every investment would multiply into limitless wealth. And in the beginning, it worked. By March 2012, Batista was ranked the 7th richest person on Earth. His company, OGX, raised $3.7 billion in what was Brazil's largest IPO ever. There was just one problem. They had no oil, no operational fields, no barrels flowing, no revenue, just dreams, just promises, just the word of a man who said Brazil would become a superpower. The world believed him. Investors believed him. Even governments and global funds trusted him. But deep beneath the ocean, the truth was waiting. When drilling began, the results were catastrophic. 4 out of 5 of the oil fields had to be abandoned completely. The company had promised millions of barrels per day. In reality, 10,000 barrels. A drop in the ocean. The empire began to crumble. Shares in OGX collapsed by 99%. Bonds traded at 8% of their face value. By 2013, OGX alone owed $5 billion. But here's where the nightmare turned into a chain reaction. Because Batista had tied his empire together, every company in the EBX group was connected like dominoes. When OGX fell, MMX mining followed. MPX energy bled cash. The collapse spread like fire. In total, his empire owed $11 billion. And creditors weren't patient. They wanted their money back. The timeline is staggering. March 2012, Batista was worth $30 billion. November 2013, OGX filed for bankruptcy. January 2014, Batista's net worth went negative. 2 years, from the world's elite to the world's biggest loser. And still, Batista couldn't let go. Instead of saving what was left, he doubled down. He tried to buy the Maracana Stadium. He bought the Rock in Rio Festival. He renovated luxury hotels. Every move burned more cash. Every decision pushed him further into the abyss. It wasn't just bad luck. It was pride, a refusal to admit defeat. The collapse didn't just cost him money. It exposed everything. By 2017, Batista was arrested on charges of bribery. A year later, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He was banned from running public companies, ordered to pay $132 million in fines for market manipulation. The man who had once dreamed of becoming richer than Carlos Slim was now remembered not as a genius, but as a warning. And the warning is clear. Never build an empire on unproven assets. Never confuse potential with reality. Eike Batista bet his entire empire on oil that might exist. He leveraged billions on a promise hidden beneath the ocean. But real wealth doesn't come from illusions. It comes from boring, predictable systems that work today. Cash flow, proven models, steady growth. Batista chased a dream that wasn't real. And in the end, that dream destroyed everything. Eike Batista's downfall is more than a business failure. It's a human tragedy, the story of pride, of belief, of ambition without limits. He wanted to put Brazil on the map. He wanted to reshape the future. Instead, he became a symbol of how fast fortune can turn to dust. From $30 billion to -$1 billion. From the world's richest to one of its greatest cautionary tales.